Those look good. Okay, thank you. So, good evening. Let's call the meeting to order. This is the regular meeting of the Winchester Planning Board. This Thursday evening, we're going to be broadcast on WinCam. We will be broadcasting our meetings regularly. For those of you who may be watching on this nice summer night, I expect there are quite a few. We meet regularly almost every other Thursday night, and they're posted on the town calendar. So if you're interested in following the proceedings, that's where to check. With me, I'm Lance Grensbeck. I serve as chairman of the planning board. With me this evening on my right are board members Drew Bottero and Mary McKenna. On my left, Maureen Meister and Betsy Krager, and town planner Betsy Ware. And our audience tonight is Mr. Schuman, our assistant town engineer, and Liz Campbell, our recording secretary, so things like that. Our agenda for tonight will have the town planners' reports and comments, updates on materials that have not made it to the agenda. We expect them to start very close to 8 o'clock or a little bit before. Looking at the Waterfield development concept proposals, we've received about 11 of those. We're going to try to sort through those tonight, winnow that down to 3. So I expect we'll spend the bulk of the evening looking at that and talking through there. When we finish that, we a year or so ago won a grant from the Massachusetts Smart Growth Alliance and their Great Neighborhoods program to develop planning and improvements to the town center. We owe them a work plan and budget for the second year for the funding, and Betsy Ware will walk us through the draft plans and budgets and the schedules, and I think we want to sort of review that fairly carefully and see what is reasonable to do. A little bit later in the evening, we have very quick project updates on the Master Plan Steering Committee. We have in the process of trying to schedule the next meeting. And an update on the parking plan, which the Board of Selectmen held a public hearing on that on June 18th. We were going to put together a memo this evening on suggestions for the Winchester High School. It's still in progress, so we'll probably bring that up at the next meeting. And then we have some information on the commuter rail station that we want to do, and a letter to go to the ZBA, which we discussed, both of which we discussed last time. We've drafted the letters, and I think it's just at this point just a quick review with the board. So those are that's the schedule. For those who are here, our next meeting is going to be July 12th. It'll be here at 7:30, and then we're skipping until the next one after that is August 9th. So if you haven't updated your calendars, please do. So, okay, Betsy, updates.
You did not get a planner report from me this week. Things have been a little bit at loose ends. I've been working on end of the year budgeting, also working with the Mass Smart Growth Alliance on revisions to the budget, and had a discussion with them today about budget issues for this year and next year, because we do have some carryover. The Sanborn House, there was a memo in your packets regarding the Sanborn House. There was a meeting last week, which Betsy Krager and I attended, where there was discussion.
This week or last week?
Last week.
Last week.
Okay.
And several people attended, so Betsy may want to give an update on that. Joan is out for this week and potentially next week due to health issues in the family. We've had some computer glitches this week, which I think have been resolved. Thanks.
You have email again?
I have email again, and actually the last couple of days, the town clerk has been using the Waterfield room for a major clean out, and it's been much less impact than I thought it was going to be, so my thanks to her.
I met John on the way up. He said the amount of mold in the vault was really impressive.
Ooh.
Yeah. So he said they've cleaned it all out apparently.
Yeah,
so,
it's cleaned out, and there's
so
HEPA filters.
You should have a quieter neighborhood.
There's
the
HEPA
next week.
filters everywhere, and so progress is being made.
Okay. Did you want to talk briefly about the Sanborn House?
Well, just to bring the board up to date. basically, the reuse committee came back with their report, and of Bill McAuliffe, Chris Nixon, who is a school committee member, and
Matt, you probably, if you close those, there's no air conditioning here tonight, so.
we need the cross
We need the cross ventilation.
Right,
We can
and-
stop for the motorcycles.
Right, and Jim Johnson, who was, is on the Board of Selectmen. And basically, they came back with several different options. What they had wanted to recommend to the school committee was that they invite people to give a letter of interest in utilization of the carriage house. And they also had quite a bit of information through the studies and information that they had gotten about the potential costs of the build-out on that building. And just sort of doing sort of the bare bones work was probably going to be somewhere in the $800,000 range, ballparkish. And that would include taking care of the envelope and essentially, retaining the historical, elements there. And basically getting it cleaned up for whatever somebody might want to put in there. The problem is with some of these costs, if you're going to build it out and put an elevator in it and the whole deal, the estimate for that was about $2 million. The problem, that personally that I can foresee is that the school committee is apparently unable to commit to a lease greater than 10 years. I mean, they could do extensions, but with that level of expense...
That's because of Mass General Law.
Exactly. Thank you, Maureen.
Yeah.
And the problem with that, of course, is just for that large of a nut, and if anybody's trying to do fundraising for anything like that, it's really kind of a short time frame for that. But in any case, the school committee, in fact, it decided to extend their period, to give people some more time to be able to respond to that, and then they were going to be putting that out here within the next week or so.
Okay,
So
good.
that's essentially where it is now.
There's a question or comment on it. The sense I got from the materials is that the school committee, well, a couple observations. One is that I didn't see that any of the uses being considered were really school uses. And the second part of this is that the school committee seems to have some quite understandable concerns about compatibility of carriage house uses with their uses. I think those have to, I may suggest this as my viewpoint, I think those can be navigated without the school retaining school jurisdiction over the property, and then we can get around that 10-year problem. So I just want to point that out.
Yes, that has occurred to.
Well, and those
that
issues
has occurred to us.
were all discussed and worked through a lease that the town has with the Historical Society, and from what everyone says across the board is that the Historical Society's been a great tenant, and there have not been problems with this, with their
parking and traffic.
occupancy. So they've been very respectful of restricted hours and uses and so on. So I think it's doable.
And also, that is, the whole site is part of the National Historical Register. It's the land plus the house, plus the carriage house. So to have that become part of the Historical Society's mission and campus plan is really a strong move for the Historical Society for fundraising and so forth. So
Exactly. Well, I mean, it was certainly mentioned that, there are any number of organizations that, that could potentially use the property. So details will emerge in due course.
Okay, yeah.
Just any reason for us to make some formal comments to be carried back, or is this sense of the discussion of the committee adequate?
I guess my impression from the notes and Betsy's comments was that it's still evolving, and I don't, if we want to make comments, then I guess.
There was a discussion on it on the 26th, on Tuesday night.
Yeah, the school committee.
I didn't attend.
Yeah, and basically, as I said, they took a vote basically to extend their period that they were, before they really come to any kind of a decision on that. So,
My understanding of the notes was that there's a question of, do you convey it back to the town so that the
Right.
town, or to the historical commission so that they can extend a longer lease, which at least my impression was that would allow them to make longer-term capital.
correct.
Or
That's
make it
correct.
more attractive for
Yeah.
people to make a
That-
longer-term
that's-
capital
that's-
investment.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Just
The
to-
Sanborn, for the Sanborn house right now, it's a 50-year lease with a 50-year,
Okay,
extension.
so doing a capital investment that has a 20
Right.
or 30-year lifespan. Okay.
Exactly.
Point of information, though, it was pointed out in the materials, it is currently owned by the town, as I understand it, all school properties are technically owned by the town,
That's correct.
but allocated to the school.
Yeah, so the school, I think, would have to
The town would have to engage in a lease.
engage, yeah. No,
Correct.
Move it back from the school committee's use to town
Right.
control.
Yeah, it would have to get,
direct control.
it would have to
Okay.
get accessed. But,
Okay. When's the next,
Let me see now,
Action on it.
I think the next action on that may be sometime in mid-July.
okay,
So,
okay, good. Okay, do you have anything else that I've forgotten?
No.
Okay. So let's move on then to the Waterfield block. Just as a bit of background and explanation to watching. When we did the phase one of the master plan several years ago, one of the key issues that came up was the vitality of the town center, in the sense that there was while the town center was very attractive and worked reasonably well, there were a lot of pieces that didn't work well. Parking was one of them, which we've been addressing with the Board of Selectmen. The other issue that came up constantly in discussions was the zoning. That made it very difficult for people to redevelop. The current zoning and building requirements made it very difficult for owners to redevelop or expand in the town center. And so the question then came up, well, what do you do about the zoning? So we have done a number of things over the last year. Look at, for example, we've got a piece of work underway to look at the current zoning requirements and look at the pros and cons of those. We've had an economic development study that looked at the vitality of the retail and office and restaurant businesses in the town center. We got state funding to do that. And then more recently, we got funding to do a short look at the market for housing in the town center. So we've got now some sense of the demand there. So one of the things that we thought might be useful in moving this forward was to take a look at one or more blocks in the town center and use those as pilots to think about what you could do for redevelopment, and use that as sort of a stalking horse to figure out what would be positive zoning changes and what would and what would not work. We've focused on the Waterfield block. That's the area bounded by Church Street, Waterfield Road, and the commuter rail station. And we're moving that forward fairly quickly because the MBTA is going to be reconstructing the station. And when they do that, they're going to be reconstructing the platforms. And they're also going to be tearing down the old Chamber of Commerce building that served as the former station there. So we've told Beth Thrudolph and the Board of Selectmen that we would sort of look at development opportunities for that parcel, so that when we come back to sort of look at what the MBTA is going to do with the station, we could inform those things. So what we've, and I will turn to Mary and Betsy perhaps to describe briefly what we've done in the RFPs, but what we've done is let out an RFP to get development design concepts, and we have a series of them. Betsy's got 11 of them now, and so the task tonight is to sort through those and pick out 3 to whom we want to have awards. So I guess, Mary, do you want to talk for a second about what we asked for, and Betsy about the process, and then we'll go into
So we put out an RFP asking for architectural urban planning firms to submit proposals that would look at the possibility of developing the Waterfield site into a mixed-use retail, office, housing project that would also provide some parking in the back. And we also were looking to develop concepts to engage the MBTA station beyond just having the ramps going up, because we will be losing the Chamber of Commerce building. We want to make sure that there's a place that reflects a station in the end. And we saw an opportunity with this block to maybe develop a private public building that would give benefits back to the community as a station and a mixed-use block. So we put out this RFP, and the criteria we were looking for was to get some very creative concepts, design concepts, to give us ideas of how to develop it and change the zoning in the result to help this work. And the criteria for the RFP was for the architects to submit examples of their work for concept development, which means that we are really at the roll up your sleeves, grab your pencil, take out the trace, and do some design work. And 11 people have put in their proposals, so we're going to select 3, and ultimately we will have 3 very different designers on board who will be looking at different ways of developing the block.
Yeah, and I guess what we're, for clarification, because we don't have any maps to show
And I
people.
wish we had-
Yeah, we're looking at, primarily at the parking lot area. The town owns the parking lots, the Waterfield parking lots that are next to the station, right in back of the commercial stores. We've asked in the RFP, the designers to take a look at what could be done in that area. We've given them the option of looking at the whole area, and we've been talking with the property owners there. They're welcome to participate in this process, and we'd hope at some point that they'll, see what ideas they think are attractive. But there's no commitment at this point, either by the town or the property owners, to go ahead with any of this. So at this point, these are ideas to be floated to help us think about zoning changes that we want to make that would make future development work. But there's no funding, there's no work at this point planned to go beyond this kind of a exercise and thinking about it. However, we have, one of the reasons we pursued this in a lot of early discussions is that we found that being able to develop visual plans to show people makes it really critical to letting people understand what could and couldn't work, and so they can comment and say it looks good and doesn't. Okay, Betsy, the process we went through was to issue them and then,
Basically, Mary and I worked on an RFP. We put it on the town's website. We advertised it in the Central Register. The Central Register ad was in June 13th. We've had 2 site walks where we've had probably about 18 to 20 different firms come in and basically walked them through the property. The deadline was the 27th for the proposals, and out of roughly 3 dozen firms that expressed interest in getting the RFP, 11 submitted. And some of those 11 actually teamed up with other people.
okay.
So there's, I think the maximum team is 3 different entities. And most of the firms are Cambridge, Boston, Beverly, Arlington, local firms.
Okay, good. Okay, so, our task, because the end of the fiscal year is Friday, we need to make a selection tonight, and Betsy needs to work with the town council and the comptroller to encumber the funds and execute the contracts, or at least we get them going. So the task tonight is to sort of figure out which 3 we want. Each of these is going to be for $9,900, so they're not a huge investment on our part. But we need to do that. So I'm going to suggest, and I don't know whether I look for a volunteer or appoint a volunteer, what I'd suggest we do is go around among the board members and have people just sort of walk through what they think, what their sorting criteria were, and who they sort of are favoring, and see what we get. When we get I presume there'll be some consensus that we don't want, and some that we want to consider further, and then we'll take a sort of another round and let people react to that and see where we go. So let's see.
Yeah.
Dr. Pitaro is raising his hand, so I hear a
So
volunteer.
we'll go this way, huh?
Okay.
And I'll probably just give a couple high points. First, people put in effort, and a lot of people put in a lot of time doing these things, so that's all appreciated. A lot of competent people. But 2 of them stuck out to me. And they were LDA Architects and Abacus Architects. Just kind of struck me as having articulated a better sense of what we wanted back. They seem to have done some site work. They seem to understand that this is a tight spot in a developed context, and that was the task at hand. So let me just say that those two looked ahead of the others by a noticeable chunk to me. A couple others that were some mentioned, I guess. I had a little trouble making sense of what the Cecil group was, but it seemed like a credible presentation. Some others have mentioned the Bluestone group, the Winton and Mahian architects was interesting, and the William Sloan one was a little bit interesting to me.
Okay.
But those first two are the ones that I just were a cut
So
above.
you've got LDA and Abacus as sort of a first set, and then a second set of, did I say,
Second set I'm less committed to.
Bluestone, AW, and Sloan?
Cecil group was.
Cecil, okay. And so there are 4 or 3 in the,
Right.
okay.
Probably a little higher commitment to Cecil, but
Okay.
it's
So you've got 2 with 1 to go.
2 with strong conviction and 4 with weaker conviction.
Okay. Mary, do you?
Okay, yes, I again, also want to thank all the firms that came to the sidewalks and spent time with these proposals, and it was a short request period, but I do have some strong convictions, and for the reasons I mentioned before, that I'm really trying to get a process established where we have 3 very independent thinkers of design. So Amani Witten I chose because they are bringing a conceptual, creative design to the context, which is not what we normally would, but may bring station results that are very creative and connect the field. Abacus is a more grounded housing and village type of setting, but also they have a little bit different approach and look to their architecture. LDA is good urban solid planning with nice contextual work, good materials and results in their work, and I thought that they were a good balance between the outer. My 4th choice was Mitchell Fuller, and I thought they like LDA were sort of a middle ground, but they also had a piece in about housing and some good references to micro-lofts and mixed-use living and work styles, which is something that we're looking for. So I thought that experience may bring some new interests. So those were my 4.
Okay. Well, for myself, you know, I'm starting, this is interesting because I'm starting to see a little bit of convergence here. I too liked LDA as well, very much. Incrementally to that, I thought Abacus was interesting as well. I did like, actually, I liked looking through what the Bluestone group had as well. And I thought the Shadley Associates had some interesting.
Shapley.
Shadley.
Shadley, yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, any more comments on that? So those are the top, LDA, Abacus, Bluestone, and Shadley were generally your top preferences?
Yeah.
Okay. Maureen, any matches?
Yeah, Abacus, definitely strong. I guess I'll just mark them this way. And Bluestone, John Mitchell Fuller, I actually have more than some people. Smook, I did throw in there. William Sloan and LDA. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know it's 6, but it was 11. So I've managed to winnow some out.
So we're skinning down. Okay. Well, I'm not sure I did a whole lot better than Maureen in narrowing the list, but after going through all of them, I decided I would look at them on a spectrum of, pure architect to urban designer to planner. And there were a bunch of people, Mulhern, Ten Brinke, Shadley, whom I thought were, if I knew exactly what I wanted to build, I'd probably go to one of those folks to get a design out of there. But I thought they were focused very much on sort of individual building architecture, and I was looking for something more in the urban design. On the other side of the scale, the Cecil Group that's done work for us is, quite good, but I thought that they're really much more of a planning-oriented firm.
Exactly. I know that.
Yeah.
That's true.
Large scale, if I were going to go, if we were doing a large scale area for planning, I'd say that was pretty good. So that left me with a bunch in the middle, and I figured if we had three, I split the world into sort of, who would give us something, a very modern, edgy look, who would give us a more traditional take on the thing, and who might be a very practical piece. And so I put how do they pronounce their name? Amani Winston? Amani Winston. So they were, I was very intrigued by their work, and it was very definitely, sort of a bit edgy and interesting. LDA on the more traditional ones I thought was quite good. Bluestone on the practical side, but I tend to agree with Mary's earlier comment that, we've had Larry in to take a look at some of these things, so we've already invested and had some good
That's true.
ideas from him that
That's
we
true.
do, so it wasn't clear that we were going to get entirely new ideas, although the thing that I liked about Larry Bluestone's proposal was he was one who actually worried about some of the technical.
I saw that too.
Exactly.
Others might
Exactly.
get to that because we weren't doing it. He also knew the most. So then I question was, Abacus, the Mitchell stuff, I liked things, and Smook. I guess I would probably come down to the AW, LDA, and perhaps either Abacus or Mitchell. So I'm not sure where that then leaves us.
Oh, you can take more. I did. I took 6. You can take 5.
Well, I think of the three, the AW, the Abacus, Mitchell, and then the LDA would be. I think I got it down to
Yeah.
4, but
Four.
I
You've
could
got
be.
four.
I could be convinced
Yeah,
that.
no.
This,
So,
as,
do you want to?
well, just an
Do you
observation.
want to go around
Well,
the?
just on plain scorekeeping,
Yeah.
every one of us liked
I'm seeing a lot
Abacus
of
and
convergence
LDA.
here.
Exactly.
So it's almost like if that's true, we started with those.
I agree.
Then it's
I
a
agree.
question
Yeah.
of the third one.
Yeah, good. Thank you for shortening the
I
process.
agree. Yep.
So, Drew, why don't we just go around again and so what's your thinking on?
I would agree with the comment on Bluestone, who seemed to be the most knowledgeable with the site, but we've already tapped into his knowledge. Wouldn't necessarily be incremental over what we've already seen. I did have, and I don't know, in Winton as one I thought, you said edgy, I wrote, my note said frame breaks. If you want to get some different thinking there, they would probably
Push one end out.
they would come up with something we weren't expecting.
True.
And other people talked about John Mitchell Fuller, but that was a common one. But they didn't. My note there, which it was a commercial feeling to that. It was more like operating if they had full amount of land without a lot of restrictions. There's just so that's why they didn't make my short list. So anyway, so my thought from when I'm observing between John Mitchell Fuller, it seems like we're talking about John Mitchell Fuller and Anne Mahean Winton is the two that are the candidates for the third.
Okay, so Abacus, LDA, and then some combination of the others.
Yeah,
okay?
so I'm not voting on that one. I mean, but actually, my vote was on the Anne Mahean Winton, but other people are voting the other way. So I think we probably need to talk it out a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah,
Mary, thoughts?
Well, Abacus and LDA, I agree with Drew, and on Winton, I think that to get some thinking that is beyond what we would expect, and it's very creative in their work, crosses the line between landscape, architecture, sculpture, urban, and really artistic buildings. So we have a good ground in LDA, and also with Abacus. So I really, remember this is a charrette. This is
That's
ideas.
true.
This is,
Yeah.
let's see what somebody can just think about new. I just think one firm that could be very exciting would be really great to have in the process.
Yeah, well, I totally agree with Mary on that. That I think that I think the more differentiation that we can show, I think it could really promote some very interesting thinking about that site, so that you could have something that would be more forward-thinking while still being respectful, of the historical context.
Thoughts?
I just as a firm, and if you're going to get product, I guess I thought John Mitchell Fuller would produce what you'd want in the end. I looked at this and I thought, oh man, it's the ICA here, Van Pier out in Winchester. I mean, you can do it just to show an alternative, but to me it could actually, be somewhat disturbing to people, and I don't think in the end it's what most people in Winchester would want or town meeting would want, so.
John Mitchell Fuller?
No, the Indian.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, it's definitely the cantilever building. I mean, a lot of people, let's face it, we've got Winchester High School, that's a building that's been very off-putting to a lot of people, and as we're talking about the building, we don't like it. And then to bring images of this type out to Winchester, I think is kind of shooting ourselves in the foot, frankly. On the other hand, I thought there were strengths with John Mitchell Fuller that we all accept. He did come in with a lot of endorsements, including Mary's. So I guess I think we'd just get more that would advance the cause by showing different ideas, but maybe not in the kind of edgy approach that really I think is off-putting to a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I guess the consideration that if I looked at both Abacus's work, which and they were similar in many respects in that their design style tended to go toward a very kind of modern, and
Yeah.
I wasn't clear whether what the AW people did. They had done this East Connecticut analysis of the public open space. I thought was interesting, and the rehab of the Brown building was a reuse, a preservation reuse, which I thought was interesting. So, I didn't know. Yeah. So the question is, if you had to choose between one of those two, would you then take a Mitchell as a very different building architect?
I don't know, I think you'd get more, I agree with Mary. I think you'd get more differentiation with the, I'm still having trouble getting myself around the name, Liz, Could you say that for me? Anayan, thank you. Wouldn't.
Okay.
I mean, if we're really wanting to show
So, but I'll just
three distinct.
ask you to reply to me, if you end up with a building that looks like this, and you're showing people that's an option for the Waterfield block, I mean, does that?
Well, that particular one doesn't charge me. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll give you
No,
that.
let's go.
But I would presume that the instructions we would give them would be that we don't want something like that.
Right, and actually on the sidewalk, Betsy and I were very clear. We were saying that we weren't looking to Disneyize Winchester and do Disney Victorian, but we were definitely not looking for Frank Gehry. And I knew they were in the
Okay.
meeting, and I was very clear that we were
'cause-
not looking for a signature building, but we were looking for concept
The
ideas.
LA Philharmonic Hall is really
Well, it is
spectacular.
spectacular.
But I hear the Strata building leaks, so. I don't-
It should actually, it's spectacular where it is, but in Waterfield it would look a little odd.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
That's what.
So just pull out the
Just the context.
proposal for me and tell me where there are buildings that they've actually done that you would be happy with. And I'm looking at this thing that looks like the ICA. It's got this giant campus. It's really unattractive stuff.
Well, I think their thinking process and their planning and analysis and how they work through the project. You're isolating one project, and every
I'm
single
seeing
one of
several.
these proposals, Maureen, we could pick out something that we don't like.
No, but I'm looking through the whole thing and I'm saying, where is anything in here?
Well-
The Spalding Rehab Hospital is pretty sympathetic to the site.
Well, where are we?
That is on page.
Right, this isn't
They're on
paginated
page-
either.
they're on page
Complain about that.
It's like the third project in.
Just show me.
What I liked was the page that grabbed me a lot was the page on. It's not numbered. It's opposite the maps. It's early
Right.
on. Looks like this,
Study.
where they what do they call it? Sustainable development in the town center.
Right.
They mapped out different potential uses there, and I thought that was creative.
Outdoor concert, tree market.
And I must tell you, since this looks like it's going to be them or Mitchell Fuller, I went back because there's some attention to this and find out what was the base, reminded myself what was the basis of my reaction here. And they strike me as fairly modernist kind of buildings that are kind of clashy with Winchester Center as well. So I just didn't get the sense that we're going to get anything that was, it was going to be a certain kind of tradition that was a disconnect and nothing that was exciting to me. It's just a subjective reaction, but that was what I got out of there. The one that struck me as very interesting because I've been in it, 10 Milk Street. Actually, I don't know if I've been in 10 Milk Street, but the Kingston Street and all these things. You know, I don't really see how that stuff is fitting, and I didn't get a sense of a process by which they would come up with something. So that I probably overweighted the criteria 3, conceptual design and visioning project approach, the approach part there, how they were thinking about it. I didn't get a handle on how they were going to proceed. They have a good pedigree. There's a lot of, you know, these are all good people. They're definitely a cut above, but I just couldn't, I had trouble figuring out what they were going to come up with from there.
I was, one of the things I did last night, not being able to sort out all of them, was simply go back and spread them out and try to look at the ones and say, which ones, I mean, because part of this is going to be how well they can communicate the ideas
I
to
had that
lay
too,
people like me. And the ones I found to be really best at doing that were, among the ones we've talked about, were, I like the abacus.
Yeah.
I thought I flipped through that one quite quickly. I like the A&W one and things like that was things. And the LDA one was not quite at the same, I mean, Larry's was quite clear too, but
Yes.
for
Yes.
things like that. And the others were decent, but I thought that these 3 were among the best at communicating, at least on paper, you know. And you know, we didn't ask them for very much. We just said, you know,
Right.
basically give us a letter and your qualifications. So
I liked, and I realized I was overweighting it as I was doing it. When I saw the front of the LDA, just the fact that they had like window frames there, they broke that whole view from the bridge into 3, said,
Yep.
these people are already thinking about this. And
well, my reaction, I thought this was a really ugly project they'd done, and then I realized it was our project. Yes.
That's our site.
It's our site.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so, and then they, anyway, they just drew me in a way. But anyway, those are the ones that we're not in disagreement about at all. But we're pretty clear on the top 2, and it's just a question of number 3.
Okay.
Oh.
I guess what we're talking about is, are we, because in the end, we set out, I guess as Mary said earlier, to have 3 really different,
Right.
or somewhat different approaches. And I guess the question is, if we were to go with the abacus, A&W, and LDA, are we satisfied that we've got 3 corners of this piece stretched?
Well, if that's,
I mean,
I'm
I
not
think
sure I
I
would
heard
set
Maureen
that up
saying, yes,
as
we
my,
do.
I would agree that if that's the question, but I wouldn't make that my criteria for selecting 3. So to me, I'd like to really get 3 viable firms that we might actually get to know, you know, and that show ideas. And I am genuinely concerned that here we are collectively listening to and maybe getting involved with, hopefully, rebuilding Winchester High School. And when one of the main arguments is, or main concerns is that the building is really ugly, I think that's true.
I guess,
Well-
though, Maureen, I would like to add that we've come a long way from the high school in this town, and I really don't see that happening with the working group process that is around in town. There's so many people giving input that if something starts to develop that is not positive, it's going to be discussed fairly, you know, openly. So, I don't know.
One thing I would like to get some assurance on with the AW group is related to Maureen's question. What I don't want is to have to explain to some town meeting member when something comes back that looks like Frank Gehry that, you know, I just want to make sure that's not going to happen.
He retired.
Well, I think we have 2.
You get the point.
Well, I mean, there's 2.
You see it, well, you say,
Since we have no money to develop anything,
Right.
exactly.
there's a sort of a natural control on it, because this is all going to basically be on paper. And if the town were to decide to go ahead and do something, first we have to rezone it, and then you'd have to go through another RFP process and select
Right.
things. So
it'd
I
be
think this is
pretty
a,
expensive.
so, and I think the other thing we can do, and this we should
And
talk
speaking
about.
of Shadley, I mean, I found their presentation to be
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I miss something?
I thought that was strong.
I thought there was strong landscape architects, and I want to keep their name around.
Yeah.
But did I miss
I agree.
the lack of building architects?
You are correct. That was why I made a note to that, is a landscape only. That's what.
Yeah, if we were putting a park there, they would be the
Right.
number one choice.
Yeah, no, they seemed good.
Sorry, we couldn't hear you, so go ahead. You were saying?
Oh, well, responding to and agreeing with Drew, and I gather Betsy, that Shadley and Associates, they're landscape architects, and they seem strong in that area.
Hang on to for landscape architecture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe one
I'm sorry,
more. I just wanted to come back to the table for what we're doing. These are not architects that are providing buildings that we're going to build tomorrow.
Oh, I understand.
They're concepts, and we're only looking at them to help us move the process forward. So again, the
Well,
more
I guess-
different and creative the ideas you have, I think, the better.
Yeah, and I guess the thing we probably want to talk about a little bit after we decide what we want to do, or actually before right now, I think we envisioned in the RFP, I haven't buried it here too deeply, in terms of the process, Betsy, remind me, I think we said that
You looking for the dates?
no, we were talking about, well, a process, I think what we said would we would like, let's find it. I made it in here. I think we talked about having a meeting with either, I don't know whether we want to do it individually or do all three of them, perhaps all three. I'll let you recommend on whether to do that. Basically say, here are the kind of general directions or general expectation. We gave them a list of ideas, but I think the question is, do we want to Frank Gehry on Waterfield? No, and make that explicit. So the question is, do we want to have we talked about having a briefing meeting with people
Yes,
after they were
that's in there.
selected. And I think maybe the thing for us to do would be to put together, some general guidelines on what we do, what,
Yeah.
where are the boundaries of what we want to look at, would protect a little bit against somebody sort of wandering off and say, well, you never told me you didn't want a Space Needle or something, so.
So there is a requirement for pre-meeting.
Pre-meeting, okay, good. Working.
How do you want to proceed?
Well, I guess the question, I think we've got
We have to vote.
sort of a general consensus that AW, Abacus, and LDA are sort of,
I think Abacus and
I think that's the
LDA are
original.
true consensus. I think we
Right.
actually need a vote on AW.
Yeah.
and the question is whether we can provide instructions that would satisfy Maureen's concerns, which I think are realistic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Do we vote on one at a time?
We could do that, or you could do all three, or whatever you people's
I
preference.
won't support AW, I'm sorry, but, that's fine. I
What would you
understand.
recommend, who would you recommend as the alternative?
Well, just I was quite, as you know, I had 6, so I was actually, there was quite an
Well,
array
they
there.
weren't one of them.
So, and they weren't one of them, so I actually, out of 11, there were 6 I was, thought were strong, so, after that, just in terms of, I too was tracking what everybody else said, so in terms of support, John Mitchell Fuller was the other one that came in with some, a majority support. So that would just be returning to what just the tracking in terms of where else things broke out.
AW had, that's right, that's an accurate, I have notes though that actually Bluestone had majority support.
I would be comfortable there too.
And I was one of the ones in that majority, but for reasons that it's duplicative of work already done, it feels
Right.
like we've already spent that money.
Either way,
So I think we could just do an A-B vote on John Mitchell Fuller versus Ann Mahian.
Do you want to take the other two that there seems a consensus? Oh, your suggestion is that,
Let's vote the other two in.
and then talk further on the
Let's do
third
that,
one?
and then we can-
Okay.
then we can have a little bit more
Okay,
discussion.
so the chair would, let's do them one at a time. Maybe the chair would accept a motion to, that we award one contract to Abacus? Is that, so somebody makes so moved? And the second?
Second.
Okay, further discussion on that? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Okay, and then the second,
LDA.
Chair would accept a motion to recommend that we award a second contract to LDA.
So moved.
Second.
So moved, seconded, okay. Further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 5-0, okay, good. Okay, and then the question, I guess, is then, do we want to have a little bit further discussion on the pros and cons of the other two before we move through? I'd like to,
I'd like to hear a little bit more about people's opinions about John Mitchell Fuller, actually,
Okay, good.
if we could do that. Other than myself.
Actually, Mary, he was on your short list.
It was, but only because of the housing piece. I tend to agree with Drew about the sort of city scale of the work,
Right.
corporate scale, excuse me, is what I meant to say. And I don't feel that it pushes the creative end of the three that we were trying to keep the difference. It's more at the competitive level of LDA and urban planning and being of that mindset. So, good work, strong work, but it is very corporate.
I guess on the positive, I thought, Vic, if you've got it in your hands, what jumped out and I underlined, first on page 1, John Mitchell Fuller, at the last paragraph, the most relevant local project undertaken was the rezoning of Somerville's Union Square to accommodate the pending Green Line extension, and that they worked as intermediary between the city and Union Square Main Streets, who were concerned about losing the neighborhood characteristics of Union Square. And you can continue reading. And then if you want to jump, I also thought I liked, let's see, just to page 4, back to Union Square zoning model. That just struck me as pretty close to what we were looking for. We looked at FAR, zoning envelopes and setbacks as ways to diminish the impact of the desired greater density. This is the thing, even with the 3 stories that we're talking about in that parking lot, this is going to impact a whole neighborhood that's right backing on it. So I think
That's true.
those concerns are very real, and we haven't begun to really
begun to
hit
explore
the
that.
papers and people understanding that there's something rather large that could be promoted by this board in their backyards. So I want to be very sensitive to that.
But I think LDL is going to bring that to the table very strongly. As a firm.
Well, I think if 2 do, that's good too, because they'll
I guess
still be
I made a
different.
question to you people who deal with these. I mean, they say quite clearly that it was done under Perkins and Will, and when he was working, I presume that he was the lead
Yeah.
architect then? Okay.
So it's different.
Oh, I don't mind that. Every architect does that.
What is it?
I mean, I like their work. I had the sense that if I had the site, knew exactly where I wanted to go, I would go, that they would be one of the ones I would sort of say, interesting design work. But again, I had the sense that, as you were saying, is that they, at least what they displayed to us was much more focused on individual architectural buildings design and much less, at least on the kind of neighbor. I mean, I think we want to focus on what's going on in Waterfield Block, but we want to have them look at the whole context of the downtown, because we're hoping to use this as a springboard for thinking about the broader issues too. So that was what made me think that AW's approach to it was edgy, but was much more in that kind of urban design center.
One thing too is we keep thinking about the Waterfield block as an infill blocks of which it is, but it's also a very complex piece with the train next to it,
Exactly.
which really turns it into not only a study of architecture, but a study of sculpture and a study of the land in the urban environment. And that's a unique combination that goes beyond just doing straightforward urban design. So that in itself is most interesting, having one firm that sort of goes beyond the edge.
So
Further discuss, anybody?
just
Or
your
other-
little
other
detail to your
ideas?
point, the Perkins and Will thing threw me for a second.
Yeah.
John McDonald was at Perkins and Will.
Yeah, I think he must have been the lead architect
Yeah,
on that.
so it's fair
Well, I
putting
think,
it.
my
That's how
impression was
architects
he
do
was
it.
citing his
Yeah.
own work. so.
Otherwise, they are always under somebody else's name.
It's a close one.
Okay. Well, if there's no further discussion, then I guess the chair would accept a motion. We were starting with the AW. Make a motion to accept AW as the third award. Is there a motion to that effect?
Motion, yeah.
And a second?
Yeah.
Further discussion on the pros and cons of the two there under an AW? Okay. All in favor? I'm sorry, Mr. Patera?
Just a question, those who did the site walk with AW, could you just repeat once again what you told them and how they responded?
They were very actively involved in the site visit, because she was talking with her as well.
I mean, basically what we said there were 2 site visits. They attended the
the
second one.
with that
And
was-
basically what we said to both groups was that we were looking for a conceptual design that would be sympathetic to the location, that provided a vision so that we could move forward with the T, and we did not want, kind of an outrageous leaky building. Similar to Frank Carey's, but
What-
we wanted something that was responsive to the location.
And what did they say? Or were they all
They were
just-
very receptive.
Yeah, I
And we
think
started at
most
Town
everybody
Hall.
was.
Right, we started at Town Hall, and we stood in front of the fire station,
Mhm.
and we talked a long time about the view corridors, the steeples, pointed out the massings of the buildings, the size, the height, we pointed out key buildings in town as we walked around, and each person there was really paying attention and taking photos and
Mm.
notes and asking good questions.
And we
It was
pretty much walked underneath the train bridge at the Rotary and then walked down Laraway to the site, and then walking back, we kind of came back a different route. And I think people, the comments that we heard were relative to, the Great Wall and, kind of the different sides of Winchester Center, and, but a number of people, for example, Dennis Carlone, who's going to be working with LDA, said, wow, there's some really fabulous buildings in this town. And it was very clear that what was being requested was a design that was going to be sympathetic to the environment.
And we had old
Okay.
historic photos with us of the fires, and everybody was very intrigued seeing the buildings before the fires and after
Greater
the
height.
fires, and spent quite a bit of time looking.
Yeah, we
at
had discussion
photographs.
about
We had
heights. and-
Postcards with us and so forth, so.
Then I'll go back to the submittals, and basically, this is the architectural historian speaking here. You get Frank Lloyd Wright, you still get Frank Lloyd Wright, and he's going to look different from Le Corbusier, and he's going, and on and on. I'm just looking through here and thinking, if you want something different, yeah, but I don't see what it's different in a way that we're going to then say, and we don't really want that, thank you very much. So, it's an exercise, but I don't know that it really, your point was we want to move the project forward, and I don't think this really does. To me, it's kind of an exercise to show what we don't want, and everybody can say, oh, no, we don't want that one, and then we say, okay, we're not really going to do this.
But we're presuming that they'll produce something. Given
There's
instructions
only
in
a
the setting,
range
but,
when you, again, there's a limit to what they are going to deliver, and it's going to look quite
Well,
different.
I think, Maureen, too, it should be clear that what we asked for them to submit was concept, sketches and concepts.
Right.
So we asked for their best, drawings, and so to see examples of their drawings and their models and so
Right.
forth. So, and actually, they were, whether you like what you're seeing or not, they were probably the only one that really submitted concept, drawings.
That's true.
So-
That's true.
Further discussion, comments? Betsy? Drew? So a motion on the table is to accept AW as the third awardee. We have a motion and a second, so I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All opposed, nay?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we have 4-1, so that's the third one. Okay, so Betsy, we have Abacus, LDA, and A&W. So would you, we have paperwork that you were clearing with town council?
Town council has draft
His
contracts.
Draft contracts, so we.
Without the names, obviously, of the people.
Okay, and they're standard contracts,
yep.
pretty much, okay.
And Ina Anderson and I had a discussion today because they are dealing with one of the, they will be
Funding one.
contracting and funding one of the entities. We presently have in the professional services account for the end of this fiscal year, $7,900. So we need 19,800. So I need to know where that remainder is coming from.
I think we were gonna take it out of the town center.
That's right,
Yeah.
out of the town,
Okay.
out of the town center, because that's
Yeah.
right, because
Okay.
we already have that out there from a
Okay.
vote of town meeting, I
Right.
believe, 2
Okay.
years ago.
For this type of purpose.
Yeah,
so.
Okay.
exactly.
So do we need to make financial motions to support this?
Might be a good idea to clarify it, yeah. I think we did it early on when we were setting this up, but I think it might be clearer to do that.
So we need to
Exactly.
basically clean out the professional services account.
Right.
Um,
Okay, well, I move, let me put this in form of motion. I move that we take the balance in the professional services account, as well as an amount incremental from the downtown center planning. There was a special town meeting vote on that 2 years ago from that source, knowing that I'd be getting some additional funding as well from,
Yeah, I think we only have to fund 2 of them.
Yeah, you're funding
exactly,
2 of them.
exactly.
And then the other contract, I'm
They're not
basically.
gonna run the monies through us,
No,
right?
No,
Okay.
no, no.
They
They would
originally,
pay it directly.
wanted us to basically do a contract and then they'd reimburse us. But that, to me, is more complicated than them just doing the,
That's fine.
Direct
In that
time.
case, just cut it off with those 2 accounts then.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So Betsy's motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Wanna restate it?
Yeah, restate it to make sure we got it.
So, we need 19,800, 7,900 is coming from fiscal year 12, professional services, and the remainder will come from the town center account.
From the town center appropriation
Okay.
from the town meeting.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion, clarifications needed? So, all in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
5, okay, good. And then I guess the question that, I guess you told me the answer earlier today and I didn't listen carefully. The Alliance is going to execute a contract with one of these, and they're going to use the language, they're going to use one of our standard
I'm gonna
contracts.
send them a
It'd be nice to have all 3
Right, right.
seeing the same language.
I'm gonna
with just
send them our contract, and I think the only thing that would change would be
the name and
the signature lines between, because our contracts have the town manager, the town legal counsel, the comptroller, and the consultant. They would just have the consultant and mess.
Might want to make sure with Wade that it doesn't have provisions that only a governmental authority can
Right.
Right. Well,
exercise, right?
I'm basically sending them our standard contract and the scope. If
Okay.
they don't believe that they need some of the standard contract stuff, they can
Okay, excellent.
eliminate it.
Okay, good. Okay, that's good. Then I guess the other piece we ought to talk about is the scheduling of the, so we can authorize you to notify all of them tomorrow.
Okay.
Or as soon as that's approved, and then we want to talk about when the briefing is, and I think to Maureen's earlier point, we want to talk a little bit about what bounds we want to set on this. I don't know that we need to write those out tonight, but maybe before our next meeting, we probably ought to do that. What's the date that we have? Well, I was thinking the next meeting, well, when did we say we would meet with the 3 teams? Betsy have one.
Well, we have, the contracts get executed,
29.
Tomorrow.
tomorrow, and we have, oops. the submission of deliverables is the 6th. And what we have stated to them is that we would have this briefing meeting. So they're obligated to, they'll participate in one background meeting with the town and one workshop charrette. And so that workshop charrette is on August 9th, which I think we should advertise getting as many people as we
Oh,
can
absolutely.
too.
That's the presentation.
Right. So, it strikes me that
We'd like to
if,
do that briefing as soon as possible to give them as much time as.
right,
They have a deliverable next Friday, July 6th?
No, August
no,
6th.
August
Oh, okay.
6th.
Can we meet before the 4th of July? Is
Okay.
that possible?
Would be
Or
tight.
you're away?
Well, I'm away on Monday, but not Tuesday, but probably
I'm
the,
actually away next week,
Okay.
I'm away.
and I'm coming back on Tuesday the 10th.
Can we get it written? Cut into
I think
the
I
time?
think we need to have a face-to-face. Yeah, we do want to get them working on it. I don't know. We've got a regular meeting already scheduled on the 12th.
The only
Yeah.
thing
Or is that a little
push-
too late?
But that's pushing it.
Well, we could push their schedule out
Right.
and another week or two.
Wait.
Right, we have a meeting scheduled for August.
Let me just
Um,
throw something out, it may not work. It turns out I may not, I'm not likely to be here, not certain on the 12th, but the 10th would be the Tuesday. Is that a possibility?
yeah, certainly.
We did move our meeting, our Thursday meeting to Tuesday, partly for the reasons we were just talking about for this. And
You'll be back then
I
on
can do it Tuesday.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we would cancel the 12th?
that was, yeah, right, replace the
Replace it
12th
with
with the 10th.
move the 12th to the 10th.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
So could we,
So that would give them, from the 1, 2, 3,
we could shift out.
give them 4, that would give them 4
we
weeks.
could, that's tight. We could,
Well, I think maybe we want to shift out a
I
little
think we
bit,
can
yeah.
shift out
Okay.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
I'm making these contracts so that the last date is
I'd put them out.
in September.
Well, I'd put them out to the end of October or something like
Okay.
that, just to give us.
And not that it's going to take that long.
Yeah,
but,
you don't,
know,
you don't want to have to write no-cost extensions if you can avoid it.
The
Exactly.
good thing about going to the 10th too is it would give some time for them to do some legwork before they come
Okay.
Exactly, so they might be a little bit more conversant.
home. Yeah. Okay, so we'll push out 2 weeks.
Okay.
And,
So that would put the August 9th then into the 23rd.
Yes.
So I'm going to be away that last 2 weeks in August. So do we,
Push it again.
well, what happens if you push it just another week?
into September?
No, the August 9th presentation to like the August 16th.
Well, that's cutting them pretty close.
That's two.
I just,
But we had already represented and agreed that
Yeah, we have August,
Yeah.
but
we,
we're pushing, they're not gonna get going till like the 3rd week of July. Because they're gonna meet with us. And then-
right, so if they meet with us on the 10th, that's a delay of basically 10 days.
Right.
I would just assume that their summer schedule is like other people's summer schedule. It's not, completely 40 hours a week.
Okay.
Well, who knows?
So,
Who
but Lance
knows?
is gone the last 2 weeks in August, which means it then gets pushed to September, which I don't,
Is that the end of the world?
yeah, so it'd be like something like September 6th.
I'm
We have a
away
board, we have a planning on the 6th,
that week.
4th, 5th, so you have the whole week?
Yeah, I could go out to the next week,
Okay,
the 10th.
okay.
Could be the presentation. Everybody would be back then too, so we get more people.
Yeah, although is that a Board of Selectmen's meeting night? We might want to do it on a
Well,
night
I'm
that,
not saying we need to do it on the 10th, I'm just saying.
that week, yeah, okay.
You know,
so our due date would,
So August 9th would be moved to sometime in the week of September 10th. We have to pick a date that's
We
going
do
to be.
the week of, the submissions come in, the week of the 10th, and then we have the meeting the week of the 17th of September.
Okay.
How's that? So it's basically jumped in a little more than a month. So
So
September,
do the week of the 10th and the meetings on the week
So
of the 17th.
it's due September 10th.
and the meeting will be the week of
The
the 17th,
presentation.
when we can work it out. That gives us a lot of time to
Yeah.
advertise.
So I'll be available 19th,
But it would be
19,
better, I
20,
think,
or
to have people
21.
back from their
Right.
summer excursions.
19, 20, or 21.
21, yeah, I think.
Well, we'll have
September.
We have a meeting already scheduled for the 20th, if I'm reading this correctly.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
the
think I'm
20th.
gonna be unavailable that night. Not certain, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm sorry?
I think I'm gonna be unavailable the night of the 20th. Gonna be away the following week and
Well,
leaving.
how about the 13th?
Well, we're getting the material in that week.
Yeah, but we're not going to do much with it, except, I mean, presentation is going to be the core part of it, right?
That's right. But that was my thought.
So have it due by the 10th, get it distributed to people, and then hold,
Yeah, it's not like it's going to be an iterative process where we're going to say, oh, no, that won't do, you know,
Right.
and send it back, you know. It is what it is, you know.
okay, so do the 10th, and then we hold the charrette, or the presentations on the 13th, if
Yep.
that works.
Yep.
Everybody can make it?
Yep.
Okay.
So are we
Uh,
meeting 3 nights that month?
I'm sorry?
Are we meeting the 6th, 13th, and 20th, or are we canceling?
Six.
I don't,
Well, I know if you are.
we do, but yeah.
It's always, Labor Day
Well-
week is a hard week typically. I mean, I think I can be there, but
The warrant closes on the 24th.
Yeah. Why don't we leave those dates in place and for another week or two until our next meeting and see what shapes up? 'Cause- Okay. So, so we'll move the submission of the deliverables to the 6th, I'm sorry, to the 10th, which is a Monday. Or do you want to do it on a Friday? And I hate clients who ask for things on Monday morning.
I
your
know,
fault
I
if
know.
you're
It is-
working over
that's
the
a killer,
weekend,
I
though.
agree.
So we want to say the 7th to the 14th.
Let's say the 7th and then meet on the 13th. You always
Can't
wind up
finish
working
on
on Sunday
Friday?
night.
yeah.
To nobody's happiness.
So you can play for the weekend.
Yeah, well, you know, they can, it's okay. Let's do that then, okay. And then I guess the question is, do we have a meeting between, let's see, when did we say we were having the briefing? Did we settle on that? I mean, the meeting with them?
Briefing, we said July 10th.
July 10th, okay. Okay, now, do we have a meeting before that? We don't.
No, but that's really just next week is all that's in between that meeting and today.
So the question is, do we want to put together some general guidelines? Well, I guess the first question is, do you want to invite them all in at the same time? I think we ought to have them all hear the same thing at the same
Yeah,
time. as
right, why
well.
not?
Yeah.
They understand it.
They're working, they know they're working.
And do we want to have some general written boundaries?
There was
that
a
we-
fair amount in the RFP,
Yeah, I think it was.
which I've included in the contract.
Say, we did
Okay.
a lot.
So if we don't need any more, then, and we'll have plenty of verbal time to talk with them about what we are thinking about there, but,
I mean, I can also, if enough people are interested, I could probably set people up to come to various meetings of the Historical Commission or whatever.
I think
No?
we, yeah, for the amount,
don't
we're
have-
asked, this is a small
That's true.
contract money,
That's
so.
right. We wanted, like we said in the sidewalk, this is about concept and design, and we don't want to
Right.
bog them down,
Right.
which will happen very quickly.
Okay,
So,
all right.
so the RFP has a lot in it, and maybe what everyone could do is if you have things, you see things that are missing in the RFP, maybe you could do a bullet
Yep,
list
okay.
and get that to Betsy,
Mm-hmm.
and we can come out with a new set of items. Good.
Okay, good. Okay, just clear up some of this. This is mine, not yours. Okay, we have relatively few items left this evening, so we might get out before 10. Project updates,
Summer hours.
summer hours, right? We can work till 10 if you're desperate, but, so project updates, master plan steering committee, we had a
There was,
Scheduling request out.
Betsy
Betsy,
was
any-
orchestrating it. It looked,
I believe it's either July 16th or 17th. We've had about half the people respond, and
it was split, wasn't it?
and right now, I think it's July 16th where there's the most people.
Okay.
Remember, I had suggested, though, that you follow up with
Right,
personal
right.
emails to the individual.
Yeah.
If it's a
We're all
Monday,
still open for Monday or Tuesday.
if the selectmen are using this room, that means we can't meet here.
Tuesday would probably be better.
But if people are preferring the Monday, I
That's
guess.
right, we'll do Monday.
Are the selectmen on a bi-weekly schedule these days?
Yeah, but I don't have it here, so.
All right, whatever it is, it is.
Well, it's either Monday or Tuesday, 16th or 17th.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except I think we have to pick one tonight
Okay.
because we don't meet again. And, well, we meet the 12th, but by that point it's a bit
Well,
late
I can
to-
send out an email to everybody.
That's true.
Well,
That's true,
Maureen's
because-
suggestion was we individually email the people who haven't responded and
I
ask
will
them.
do that after
Ask
this
them,
meeting.
and then I guess we'd try for Monday night. And we could always meet, we could try for the library trustees room. I don't know whether we have too many people. It's gonna be too small.
It's too small.
Too small.
Jenks is expensive.
Yep. Well, we could try, well, I wonder if the regular meeting room at the library would be available.
Well, that's a
Yeah, that's a good
possibility.
idea.
You know, because it's
Yeah, yeah.
larger.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's larger, it
Good
would
point.
accommodate a larger group.
It's probably available, too. There's
Yeah,
lots
So
of
maybe if you
Some-
want to see
some-
what
Okay.
the schedule is and then reserve either this room or the large library room.
Yes.
Okay.
I would
If it's
think,
here, we could wear our swimsuits and be cool.
I would think the invite would have to go out tomorrow.
Yep.
Because it's barely 2 weeks and a fraction, 2 weeks and a day.
Yeah,
And,
good point.
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, next week is almost doesn't exist.
That's true, because July 4th, yep.
Okay.
So,
Hurrah for the
so,
red, white,
so
and
we're
blue.
settled on the 16th.
Yes, let's try for the 16th.
And it may just be, ask people, the people who haven't responded at all, actually probably ask everyone to confirm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is a concern I would have of the people who didn't respond, that
And
you really
all.
do need to wake them up a little bit.
They may be out of town too.
That's right.
traveling,
Yeah, it's
so.
been up for 2 weeks, probably.
Yeah.
Some people live better lives than we do.
Mm.
Okay, so we'll aim for the 16th. We'll confirm with
Mm-hmm.
people there. So, okay. And do we need anything else set up? We have all the materials we need for that.
There's similar materials to the last chapter, to be honest.
Okay.
Although, other than Betsy, you had indicated that some people were looking to read more stuff because they found it so exciting.
There's a handful of people that want their beach reading. So I've been offering a couple people various documents.
Okay.
Would offer the set to everyone so that everyone's got the
Well,
same
I
choice.
did. I asked everybody if they wanted beach reading. So,
Okay. Parking plan, there was a public hearing held June 18th. Was well attended, I must say, standing room only.
That's good.
And so that was good. I would say the general tenor of the questions was quite positive.
The press reports were very positive
They
too.
certainly were,
reports were-
yeah.
I mean, the kind of key issues that people raised were, people from Nelson Street behind the high school were concerned about whether we would, whether we're pushing people over the line into their neighborhood. And they apparently have some traffic calming problems on that street as well, so.
Yeah, well, they've always had issues back there because of the proximity to the high school
Yeah, so.
back there, and that's been an ongoing problem for years, as I'm sure you're well aware.
So I think the selectmen basically offered the option that maybe the traffic advisory committee would look at that and that we would adjust that. And there were some other questions. I don't think we made it, or I don't think I made it clear enough in the presentation that the lots, the orange and yellow lots that were being used for permits would in the plan also have pay stations of some sort in them. I think people thought it was either one or the other in some cases. Some of the questions, well, can I park in the Waterfield lot if it's all orange? Well, no, it's not all orange. It's also pay stations for people who want to park 2 or 3 hours. So there were a series of questions. I think most of those we can probably resolve when we get into it. Mr. Howard is going to convene a meeting, I think, on the
10th.
looks like the 10th at the moment, of the staff, and he's going to, what Tom Howley has asked him to do is to sort of think through the implementation, because there are a series of questions like how they're going to administer it and things like that, implement it. So, and then we'll go back to the Board of Selectmen with Mr. Howard's recommendations for sort of a formal vote as whether they want to move forward on it or not. So that's underway. Okay.
Good.
I'm sorry.
Can I have one parking meeting? I just want the board to know how hard Lance has been working on this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So that I
It's a
think-
been a thankless task, I
And
know.
as I mentioned at the public hearing, I've learned my lesson. I will not do, now I understand why there has not been a parking study done for the last 30 years.
Talk to
so
David
it's,
Mortensen. Yeah, he did it. He did a
Although
good
I-
job too
al-
with it.
Although, I, for one, I can't wait until this gets implemented. It's just, no kidding, because there's such an array of different parking, and it's almost
Yeah.
space by space, different
It's getting-
times. I mean, it's almost impossible to park downtown for any length of time without picking up a parking ticket. Really.
Okay, well, I think the positive side of presumably we get it implemented and it actually works or can be made to work without too much pain and suffering. I think the other positive piece is that when we move into issues like the water field and the rezoning, we've got a town center community that's, engaged and thinking about things. So I think it'll be much easier to reach out to them and say, listen, if we're looking at water field or we're looking at preservation or other issues, be good. So we'll see what happens, Okay, town center initiative, then year 2. Betsy, did you want to?
I provided
What
people-
exactly do we need
okay,
to deliver to them?
okay,
So we can,
what we need to deliver is a year 2 program and tie some money to it. And one of the challenges of doing that is that I did not know how much year 1 had been expended, because I don't necessarily see the bills. So I ended up getting a summary. We ended up being allotted $75,000 last year for year 1. And of that, almost 49,000 has been spent or allocated, with a carryover of 26,000. And
so that 26 is not encumbered in
so
any
the
way?
26 actually is 9,900 is encumbered with a Waterfield contract,
Okay.
leaving us with 16,000, which is unassigned carryover from year 1.
Okay.
And this is what's on the
Right, yeah.
memo that,
This memo here,
the email that Ina sent.
right.
So basically, they would like us to budget another 75,000 plus the 16,000 of unassigned carryover from year 1.
Was Project Place supposed to be? part
Projects
of-
for public
part of that?
spaces,
Right.
no, Projects for
That
public
was
spaces is
additional.
separate.
That's right.
So, and the Bar Foundation will be making a determination as to whether they will be doing, the Project for Public Spaces contract was, the first phase of it was completed, and apparently they didn't have too many takers. So the discussion was how to
Yeah.
reinvent that in the fall.
Well, wait, you didn't finish about the Bar Foundation, so there, What are
So
they
the
doing?
Bar Foundation, if they decide to move forward with Projects for Public Spaces again, they will do so in the fall with a separate contract. And if we want, participation, we can express interest,
mhm.
and then there'll be a separate contract. But it's not relating to this budget.
Okay, just making sure.
Do we have then an opportunity to offer an opinion about whether we're interested in pursuing it?
Pardon?
We-
I mean, we can certainly,
Yeah.
we can certainly say that we're interested in pursuing it,
Or that we're not?
or that we're not.
Right. I just wonder if that's a sideshow for what we've got, I mean, some huge amounts of work here that,
That's right.
because of things like New Urban News that I've given you, I now have a better sense of what Projects for Public Spaces does, and it's really for a very different type of community from what we are. We're not a excuse me, but a dead little town. But they go into places that really need to demonstrate how they can be animated. So we're not. That's not. We're pretty animated.
Well, that's true. Our citizenry are far from shrinking violets.
Well, not just that. We have one of the things they show is programming and the opportunities with programming, and that's what they did in New Britain, Connecticut. And that's, I mean, it made sense in New Britain, Connecticut. But we've got a farmers market, we've got concerts on the common, we've got energy in the center that a lot of their target areas don't have.
Yeah, I think you're picking up on what we had discussed earlier, and I think I was just asking that question to see if they were still on the table or they were.
They're on the table if you want them to be on
Yeah,
the table.
exactly, which we're not sure.
I think what I'm hearing is
Right.
people's gut is we could spend that $10,000 better
Right, right.
otherwise.
I would take, I would second the idea,
Yes.
take them off the table, off
think-
the
yes.
computer
Right.
program,
Right.
okay.
Maybe we could get some good signage for our
Yeah, yeah,
parking program,
yeah.
Exactly.
right?
I mean,
And-
there are places where we could spend that quite effectively, I think.
In the,
Moreover, it does, whatever we do involves the town planner's time too, and so
Yeah.
it's twofold.
Yep.
So if we look at the year 2 that I drafted up, I had, basically calculated, what's my total, about 100,000. So, and we're at 75, we're at about 90,000, including the carryover.
okay.
So do we,
Well, actually, yeah, so,
okay. Any other questions, the wetlands? You're showing 30,000 additional into that? I would see that, I don't think we need to spend that.
okay.
I see no, I see no need, unless they
There,
have an overrun that we have to, that the Alliance wants to cover. I see,
I explained our stance on the invoicing.
mhm.
And apparently, the Smart Growth Alliance sat down with representatives from MAPC, and they have adjusted their invoice.
Okay.
And, but the MAPC, the goal of that project was to basically draft up some low-impact guidelines and to
Right.
do some other revisions. So it may not be 30,000, but there's probably $10,000 worth of work still there.
Right.
And what I have suggested is that we could theoretically hire Horsley Witten, who did the work on our LID guidelines for the subdivision regs, as an option.
Do that for the 10,000,
Right.
convert the.
Right.
Yes, okay. So this would be carrying some of the material that you and
That'd be great.
Well,
you guys did on the subdivision.
and also
And
the
making it
work that
specific to
Bennett
town
did,
center, yeah.
and then work
Okay.
with the engineering department and see if we can come up with some kind of draft language for
That makes sense.
the town center.
Okay, so 10,000 to create the low-impact development guidelines on looking at stormwater that we could carry into zoning or other requirements for a town center, okay. I'd be inclined to put sort of more money into the zoning bylaw revisions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
And then the other question that this safe routes to school, if that's funded separately, we can leave it in.
Yeah, that's a
I don't see
separate.
that as critical,
Okay.
but I would, the complete streets makes more sense to me, the Waterfield. The question is, do we want to allocate any additional funds for another workshop or shred on another area within the, we were doing Waterfield, and we talked earlier about potentially doing one other site, a Converse, what
Be another public site, town owned.
I don't know. Question is, do we want to think about doing any other?
Do we want to see how this
design,
one
or do
goes
we-
and
Or do we think
then,
it's necessary?
We could see how this one goes, but I wouldn't take it off the table as a
I
possibility.
guess the question is, do we budget any money toward it It would be in the range of 10,000, which would be
Yeah.
a smaller piece, okay? And then the balance to go to the zoning?
Zoning.
Mhm.
I haven't done
Zoning
math,
needs it.
but,
We don't do the second site that compared to zoning, which is.
Zoning will need, chew up a lot.
So,
So we've got 10,000 into the existing water field, we've got potentially 10,000 into a second type of that. We need preservation, I think we need to do something on
Me
that
too.
Yes.
to deal with that at 10,000. Housing, why do we need
It's in the
housing
zoning.
analysis here that we wouldn't?
well, the housing, Peg Berenger
Yeah.
did the housing study, and she actually, in the last like 2 weeks, she and I have gone back and forth on a couple of things, and she's kind of once again gone beyond, kind of her scope of work. She and I have, dug around and basically gotten town census data to find out who is actually living in the center of town. You know, age ranges, things like that. So, the demographics of who's living downtown. So she felt that, particularly since the Housing Partnership wanted that data in as well, we decided to just do that. But that, basically, if we were to do the charrette on the Waterfield lot, one of the things that has been, elements that's been discussed is if we were gonna do a pro forma on the Waterfield lot, you know, kind of the second phase of that. So, which is why I put that in there, and, also,
I'm open to the board. I personally think that's getting
Yeah.
ahead of us, that's getting to a
Okay.
project.
Yeah.
Okay.
versus
Right, exactly,
Okay.
because I could,
This
Yeah,
concepts,
exactly.
and we have to go from
Right.
concepts to zoning.
but
to-
when we go into
Exactly.
zoning, we're gonna be
That's
looking
exactly.
at the financials of it too, to some degree.
well, well, to a degree perhaps, but I mean, but I think that, but I agree with you, Lance. I think, I really feel quite strongly that you go to conceptually, well, what's the direction that we want to go in? Because that is really going to drive the zoning changes in the downtown that we want to be able to make. Because you want to be able to do that as effectively as we can for the whole area, you know, and how that fits in,
It's
so.
the zoning that really needs the
yeah.
Money.
money.
Exactly. So you can, anything extra, you can throw that in there, 'cause I think that would be money well spent.
So if I've done the numbers, if we put 10 into the water, we've encumbered 10 to take care of the existing water field
Yes.
block project. Set aside another 10 for a smaller look at another area, put 10 into preservation. And that would leave us, if I'm 60, or are my numbers incorrect?
Yeah, that's, 61 is what we.
61 would be into the, that would be set to deal with the zoning, and we may want to subdivide that into various pieces, but I think the zoning work will be
You'll need it, yeah.
will need it, yeah.
Exactly.
So you wanna delete anything on housing?
I want to delete the whole thing at this
Okay.
point. I think
Okay.
we're, if we were at the edge of doing a project, I'd say that
Okay.
would be,
Yeah.
So we have 75 plus another 16, so we have 90.
91, right?
And we've already, plus, that does not include the fact that they've already allocated from this year, the water field. So we actually have 100,000.
Oh, okay, so it's nice.
So, that includes 26,000 that's carryover,
Okay.
Yeah, tonight's 10,
Okay.
tonight's 9,900.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I don't have, do you have our larger work plan? Or were there other, this was the legal size sheet, the long
No,
sheet?
I didn't bring
that
that.
with me, okay. Because I was, well, we could subdivide the zoning piece, so I guess I'd be inclined to,
Zoning's gonna break out, parking will be a piece in
parking,
itself,
yeah, there's gonna be a bunch of
and
things,
then
and,
the mixed use
Yep,
is gonna be a piece, and then the
Exactly.
cultural part of the zoning, that would be the overlay.
yeah.
Design guidelines.
exactly.
So maybe we put so basically say the 70 or the numbers, I don't know the numbers here, but, so basically put the remaining block of about
Yes.
70 under that with,
Right.
and then maybe list out 3 or 4 things like that we would,
So let me, I'm a little confused, just, if, other than zoning, what's committed on this thought
Uh,
process?
well, I
10
guess you're
20
saying,
20 on Waterfield, 10 tonight, and 10,
well, 10 to Waterfield, we'd spend, well,
10 to Waterfield. This is the Smart Growth Alliance grant, so we're
Right.
putting in 20, so we're not,
Yeah, that's out of ours.
that's
So
out of
how much-
ours.
how much-
So it's 10 that, it's basically to the nearest 10.
The 10 of tonight, though?
Right,
Right.
Okay, so
So
it's
they're saying
10.
they have
So-
75 plus
plus
6.
26,
Plus 26 left over, okay.
right.
So
So,
10 to Waterfield, forget Safe Routes because that's funded outside. So what we're looking them to fund is 10 there.
Yep,
Did we say nothing?
do we want to do complete streets?
yes.
Yes.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so
Okay, I didn't-
15, so
okay,
now
okay,
we're
that would
at
take care of
25.
that, Okay.
Then another project, another 10, so that's 35,
What's another, what kind of project? The preservation project or which?
Another site.
another site.
Another site.
The wetlands regulations was another 10, so that 45, 55,
I got 25,
25, 35,
35.
45. And then the preservation is 55, so that leaves 45 for zoning.
Preservation, oh, okay, okay. So that makes sense. So would you double check the numbers tomorrow and perhaps
Yeah, if you should send that around.
send that around to people to
Right.
make sure, and then we'll do some wordsmithing on that. When is this due to them? Yesterday?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Oh, yeah, if you could just double check your dates. There's a few dates.
What is the
Well, there's
10?
also, I don't know that you need to send them the, well, I guess maybe,
I know.
would you update the first year?
Yep,
Some of that needs to be
yeah.
just updated.
And just to clarify this last thing, this 10 on the site, what is that? What category is that? A new category that's not on
That's a new conceptual design location.
Right.
for, we don't know what location yet?
Okay.
I can think of a couple.
But
Okay.
The answer's no.
it's open right now.
We haven't really discussed it, yeah.
Okay. So, well, let's go ahead. Drew, just do that. So the site is 10. The preservation work would be 10. The complete streets would be 15.
Right.
The
The Waterfield lot from tonight is 10,
Waterfield lots, tonight's 10.
and wetland is 10, and that leaves 46 on my math to the zoning.
That would be broken into specific pieces under the zoning development. Okay. Yeah. Since I won't be able to see, would you get that typed up and maybe send it around to people to double check quickly tomorrow before we send it in? Okay. Okay, any other further on this?
I'm just curious about the safe routes to school. I've really heard nothing about it, and it says there was a meeting with the schools and police, scope to be defined to include walkable audits. Where are we? And I'd love to be involved, and, you know.
Because that is important.
That was last fall, we had that meeting, or was it last summer?
I think it was last fall. And the consultant was significantly unprepared. And we ended up having a meeting. Mary and I attended. Tom Brew, who's the
Educational meeting for the
public
consultant.
safety officer, Wendy Landman from Walk Boston, and then Kate from the Scanlon's
Scanlon, yeah.
school. And we talked about a bunch of different options, but
What kinds of things were?
like
What do you
walking
mean?
school buses and having, instead of having people drop children off at the school, basically drop them off at the Jenks or at the Tetra Field lot and then walking kids to school.
Team walking.
Yeah.
So as opposed to street design and sidewalk design? And
Yeah,
No,
there.
this
Robert's
was-
design?
this
This
was-
isn't
this was
architectural,
safe
this is-
No,
routes,
no.
Safe routes, getting kids to schools.
safety By
That's-
walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was money that,
This is-
this $5,000 was outside, it was not the Alliance funds.
Oh, I
and it was
understand the
not our
funding,
funds,
that's
so
not my
this was-
interest.
so it was-
No, it wasn't on sidewalk design. It was
Yeah.
on actually getting people moving
Physically
and
getting to
walking.
and from school.
Oh,
So it's a second, yeah.
So,
So-
based on our first discussion, I think we talked about, one of the things we talked about they're doing is doing walking audits of intersections and
that's
potentially.
back to the physical environment.
Right.
So I'd be interested in that because I have a pretty good sense of it from a lot of different schools, from having kids at however many schools they've attended, plus other programs where and I've walked a lot of those routes.
Tom Grew has been pretty active in,
Yeah, but I'm still interested, so.
okay.
Well, I guess the question is,
So how do we get input here and
Well-
what's the outcome?
I guess my personal sense is this is not a priority. They don't seem to be moving it. We can call them up and ask them to get going on it, but I'd rather put the effort in the next months into the Waterfield preservation, working on the zoning.
I mean, I can give you
I
the
think
context, and if you want to set something up
If you want to pick
with,
this up.
with Tom and Wendy Landman to talk about.
Well, but is there a person, who's Wendy? She's-
Wendy Landman is Walk Boston.
She's Walk Boston.
Yeah.
Now, but there's a contract with her, with somebody, right?
Well, we don't have a contract with her.
Right, and so we don't have it, so I would hesitate
believe
to
it's
just
the-
start taking over on this.
They had funding.
They have funding.
They had funding, and the question was, somebody gave Walk Boston funding, I was
Right.
understood in the original conversation, and they were looking for a place to make effective use of those dollars. So they said, could you use it in Winchester? They came out, but we expected them to come out and sort of say, here's 5 things you can do, and, we ought to do boom, 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 and they it didn't happen, so.
It was actually
So
the
what do we,
Mass Smart Growth Alliance that introduced them into the town, so you can start there, I think.
Well, I guess
mean,
maybe,
I can-
let me suggest that, why don't you
there's a
give
contract.
I'll find out the
Wendy's
status.
name to Maureen, and maybe
Yeah.
you can call, or you and
I'm-
Andre can get on the phone for a minute and find out
Right.
where they're.
What do we
Where
quote
they're-
unquote own, that's all,
Yeah.
I would
Exactly.
say, and what
and
somebody had
see if
some
you can light a
idea.
fire under it, or
Yeah.
douse it.
Find out what the
Somebody-
status is, what's going on.
Well, I don't mind, I just don't, I want to
Okay.
get ahead of something that's,
Okay.
it's not, I don't have any sense of the contract.
Well, it doesn't sound like much is going on,
Um,
but you can find out.
Okay, so they did that, and if you have people review it. just
Okay.
nice. Okay, summer interns was the last one.
We, a person, a planner named Kurt Baker has just moved to town, and he has volunteered to do some work on the inventory for downtown. He has
Inventory of what?
inventory of buildings. That was one of the things that was
Oh,
called
good.
out and on the Smart Growth Project.
Mhm.
And so what I'm trying to do is get a meeting together with Kurt Baker and Peter Brazier. Peter Brazier being the person who I spoke with about a week and a half ago, who is a senior working through the Jenks Center program. And he is a systems architect and very much into databases and data collection. Kurt actually has done a number of inventories in other communities. So what I want to try to do is set up a meeting when I come back from vacation with Kurt and Peter and any of the board members who want to participate. And we have a laptop, we can set them up and get them rolling.
Okay, so
um,
when you're out,
I'm out until the 10th.
okay, so are you gonna be in the early part of next week, or are you out?
No, no.
Okay. So I was just gonna ask if we could perhaps then on the meeting on the 12th, a little time, just an outline of,
Yeah.
just a rough memo on what you wanna have them do, just so we can,
Yes.
we've talked about sort of
Okay.
defining what it is,
Right.
wanna have them do, so let's, if you got 10 minutes on that.
Okay,
Doesn't have to be an elaborate, just kind of the beginnings of bullet points that we can lay out there.
okay.
Okay.
Peter actually had done, when I explained to him the various projects that we had, because I would like to update the inventory on the town center, who's working in the town center. One of this inventory of buildings in the downtown, what their material is, location, size, that data. He actually went online and basically looked at all these kind of mechanisms for data collection, and it can be tied to the GIS. You can give it a number, and it can be tied to the GIS maps and things like that.
Oh, good.
So there's,
Yeah, you can take your little GPS thing and
yeah,
mark
so
it right
there's
on
a
it.
lot
Dave does
of,
that all the time.
So maybe if you'd give a short
Okay.
update and a
Okay.
scope of work for them on the 12th, because by that point, we'll be able to put them to good use.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, the last items of business today, we're in the process of putting a memo together from the planning board to the FPBC and the school committee, just documenting the ideas we talked about last time, and I think we are in process.
Close.
Okay, so we'll pick that up. Maybe if you get it drafted and send it around sometime next week, people can look at it and
Okay.
make general comments on it. And then there were two other letters that we discussed last time. One was a letter that Mary was going to draft to the MBTA. That's been done and it's been signed, or you have it for signature.
I need to make a small
So-
correction, but I can pass out, I'm gonna call this a not finished draft, just because it's a small correction I need to make, but I can pass around copies, it's pretty close. And I'll give the finished one to Betsy in the morning.
Okay. I don't know whether you want to take a minute now to read it, see if it captures what.
This is a draft.
This is a draft.
This is a draft, right?
Did you get a copy, Drew?
June, like,
There's in the
you
packet.
take that.
I've got an extra.
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah. I've got, is that
Yeah, I
extra?
haven't seen
Yeah.
this.
Maybe down.
Did it?
I've got it. So, okay.
Just check.
Needs to be a paragraph return put in there.
Yeah.
It got lost in the
Yeah.
piece there.
Yeah.
What's the other change at the end?
Pass it over to you.
Okay.
Just a minute.
Oh,
Close enough.
Close enough.
Okay. I'll do that when we finish this meeting, and I'll flip it to you.
Sure.
Yep, well written.
Yep, I'm good.
So I guess if there are no, we discussed this in some detail at the last meeting, so I guess the action tonight would be, unless there are further instructions from the board members, that if, so we would ask Mary or Betsy to submit it, and if the Board of Selectmen take up the request, Mary speak before them, then we'd authorize Mary to go ahead and represent, basically explain the letter to them, the position. So unless there's further discussion on that, I think that's probably, call that one done.
So let's record a formal motion on this. So I move that Ms. McKenna forward this letter through the town planner Betsy Ware as written.
Second.
Okay, further discussion? Maureen, anything?
No.
Typos, okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Okay, good, thank you. And then the other one was a draft letter that Maureen put together to the ZBA, basically inviting them to a joint meeting, and I don't know if we have.
It's in the packet. Just as a comment, this is.
So I guess, again, I signed it, so the question would be, unless there are further changes.
It's
I
a,
read it earlier, it looks fine to me.
Okay, and
it's a good letter. Just let me point out something. It's because it's, in my opinion, it's fine, letter for letter. It still should say, if it gets in our packets, draft on it, so that people
Yeah,
understand
okay.
it's not actually formally been approved yet.
Yep.
Okay,
One of them came in with the watermark draft on it. This one did not.
Right,
okay.
good point.
Okay, so, again, unless there are objections or other changes to that, we'll send it off to Donna and then when she responds, we'll ask Betsy to see if we can find a compatible
Sure.
date that works on that. And I'm hoping that, Drew, that you can dredge it. There was a fairly long list of changes that were proposed from your
Oh.
zoning committee.
I can,
Fixes that, I'm hoping somewhere in your well-organized files, you still have a
Well
copy of
enough
that, because it was a good list.
I have a, there's a box on the zoning.
Okay, good. All right. So I think that's the last of the business items. Betsy?
Hi, I didn't see anything here about the high school project, unless I was missing something.
We have not fully drafted it.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something.
We got the other ones done, but not this one, so.
Okay, you're excused.
So we're
I was
still-
just wondering if I was missing something.
Okay, so other items,
Yeah,
Maureen?
just any news about the planning office?
I have been told by Pete Lawson that work will start at the beginning of this new fiscal year, and he's aiming to get me in there within 2 months.
Yeah.
Good. Yay.
Other business that we've left undone?
Motion to
I
approve.
presume that our end of the fiscal year budget, we're right down to the wire on
How's,
the dollar,
any
okay?
hiccups this year
Nope.
that are known?
No,
Okay, good.
not yet.
No, we'll just get hopefully we'll manage to get that accrual in on time, and we'll be all set on the contracts.
So our next meeting will be
July 10th.
July 10th for the work, and I guess there's questions what time we want to do that.
Oh, yeah. It's quite a lot.
You know, nominally, we'd like to,
Well, they're all gonna be here together, right?
yes, question is, do we want to do it
A little bit.
late afternoon or normal evening time?
Evening, please.
Evening, okay.
Please.
7 or 7:30 start?
That, I'm
Preferred.
fine either way.
7 and we get.
7 start, okay.
Like 7 to 9?
7, yeah, 7 to 9 would be more than enough, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to keep people more than an hour and if we can. So I'd say 7 to 9, but tell them that we're anticipating clearing out by 8 to 8:30. Okay, we'll need to post that, so, okay, and then I'll take care of, okay. So,
Oh, I have one more, sorry, it's the motion to adjourn, but, so where are we with the transportation thing with VHB?
oh, yes, thank you, I was gonna ask. Where are we? Can we, thank you. I'd like to get some draft material from them soon.
Okay. They were slow at getting information on the non-billed for the 93-128 interchange.
From CTPS?
From
okay.
CTPS, and apparently what ultimately happened was CTPS gave them the data and then they had to process it, which they were willing to do
Okay.
under the contract,
Because it was faster than waiting.
because it was
for the-
faster than waiting
Okay.
for CTPS to do it. So I will send a little note to Laura. She was working on it
Okay.
the last week or so.
Okay, so it'd be useful to get some preliminary findings from them.
Exactly. There we go.
Maybe
Yeah,
we can look at.
take a look and
It's
see
been a
what's
long
going on
time.
up there. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So would you update the meeting schedule,
Okay.
things like that, when you get a chance?
Oh.
I guess we could wait until after you get back, but
We used to have the 10th posted now.
just have to have the 10th posted, right?
Yep.
So,
We had been doing summaries, you wanna do a real quick
Yeah.
rundown of what
Yeah.
we're,
so, other than vacation, the priorities for the next piece would be, if I'm remembering these correctly, would be to inform the 3 firms that they've been awarded contracts to work with Wade and then and Ina and to get the actual contracts executed before before the year expires. Then to set up for the July 10th
right,
meeting on that. And then I think and then the other
Master
piece that
plan.
needs to be would be so the master plan is just putting the meeting notice or getting that together, things. The other one would be the, obviously completing the year 2 applications would be the critical path.
The master plan notice needs to
It's a
leave
notice,
tomorrow, next week is gonna be,
yeah.
half the people will
I
check
agree.
email, I bet.
Exactly. It's going to be spotty
Okay.
at best next week, especially with July 4th right in the middle of the week.
Yeah, okay. Anything else that,
Yeah.
The high school letter, which I'll get.
yeah, okay, Maria's working on that, okay. So those are the priorities for the...
Right, right.
Okay.
And get those letters out, one to ZBA and.
Yeah, those are underway. Okay. If there's nothing further, I'll motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Hi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.